Hey, Force-E divers! Thank you for tuning in. It is October 5th, or no, it's the 6th, right? Yeah, it's the 6th. And it's Wednesday night, and we are here on Facebook Live. Thank you for tuning in. If you are listening, we want to say hello. Give us a hello back on the comments section. Let us know where you're listening in from. Are you here in Florida? Are you outside of Florida? Are you outside of the U.S.? We want to know who is listening in. So type it in that comment section. Awesome. And it is October, which means it's our themed month of Tech Month, technical scuba diving. So guys, if you are somebody who's thinking about getting into technical diving and taking your dives to the next limit, to the new limits, this is going to be a fun month for you because we have lots of great presentations planned and great information about it. You can find it on our website, www.force-e.com, and you can go to our Tech Month page, and you can watch some old videos that we did last year with some of the guys who teach in this area, and you can learn more about technical diving. You can take a class with us, or we can book you to have you go out and learn some tech dives. If you're already technical trained, we've got lots of great deep recs here that are scheduled throughout the month. So if you want to get in on that, like I said, go to our website, call us at the stores, we'll get you booked, we'll take you diving. All right, guys, so there they, as everybody's saying hello to everybody here. And over here on the other side of the camera, we've got Pete Naraki. Did I say it right?
You got it.
All right. He is our guest presenter tonight. He's from DUI, and he's going to talk a little bit more about who he is and what he's going to be talking about tonight. But before we do, we always have you guys sign in and register on our event link. So if you go to the www.com for Force-E, make sure you're registered by 6:45, and your name will get put into the random name picker. And tonight we are going to be raffling off a $50 gift card to Force-E. So maybe you can use it to get yourself a new DUI dry suit. Guys, the waters are starting to come down in temperature. I mean, it's still a good 84, 85 degrees. However, sometimes we have some big upwelling and some colder water mixing. So sometimes you don't think, oh, here in Florida, we can wear a dry suit, but you can. So if you're interested in learning more, tonight is the night. We've got the right person for the presentation. So one more thing, guys, if you're enjoying the presentation, give us a thumbs up, give us a smiley face or a heart emoji. Let us know that you are enjoying it. And if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the comment section, and we will go ahead and either answer them right away or we'll answer them towards the end of the presentation. All right, so Pete, it's all you. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up your presentation and you can start.
All right, well, hi folks. You can look at my smiling face a little bit later on. The company I work for, Diving Unlimited International, actually started in 1963. It was founded by Dick Long, and he started off by selling wetsuits. After that, he developed the hot water suit system that you've read about, you've seen for commercial and military use. And those designs by DUI were actually used in the North Shore oil industry, the U.S. Navy Sea Lab projects 1 and 2. And then he decided to enter the sport diving market. And I asked Dick exactly, why did you enter the sport diving market? He goes, oh, that was simple. I got a phone call that the oil industry has collapsed and I was $1 million in debt. So I had to do something. So he moved into the sport market. And that's where he actually introduced dry suits. And like any owner of a company, they all wind up making mistakes. And you're talking to one right now. So who am I? Okay, my job at DUI, I've got a few jobs. First of all, I'm the OMS sales manager on the product line, and I get to do some really neat stuff, and everybody wants my job. So when I retire, get your resume together and send it out to DUI and see if you can get the job, because I get to test dive all this really neat equipment. In the upper left-hand corner of your screen is actually our new CD sports suit. It's a 3 mil thick suit. It's a dry suit, very warm, a little more buoyant for my like, but when they turn around and go, okay, Pete, you folks are talking about 80-degree water, and I know there's a gentleman here from Iowa, and he's going to be like, yep, been there, done that. When they turn around and said, hey, the water's 40, go see how this suit stands up to really cold water. I'm also a rebreather diver. I dive full face mask. I get involved. And the other thing, my other passion in diving is underwater photography. So this is the day job at that point. So gear configuration is a big thing. And if you're getting involved in technical diving or thinking about it, even if you take an intro to tech class, you are going to learn a lot that's going to even work with a single 80 diving anywhere. It's all about knowledge and education. So dry suits, when they first came out, some of them started overseas even before DUI was around, and we kind of suffered along with it. The first problem we actually had was sizing, particularly for the ladies. We couldn't get anything to fit anybody, right? Everything at this point was just a select size, and if it happened to fit, you were in good shape. But the benefits of dry suit diving, obviously you're dry, which will keep you warmer. You could start your season earlier and extend your dive season to the point. Now, I'm in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and as you can tell by my accent, I'm not a local boy. I started wreck diving back in the early 70s. I've been in the business since 76, and we were diving dry back then, and we used whatever we could that was going to work for us. But training is necessary. Now, I'll tell you right now, when we first got started, you got your dry suit. There was no certification. You basically went out with your buddies and you learned real quick by that smack in the back of the head of, don't do that. The first big problem we had was inversion problems, too much air going up into our feet. That could lead to an uncontrolled descent or not properly using the inflation valve on the suit. The proper name for a dry suit is a variable volume dry suit. You need to have the ability to introduce air or another type of gas into the suit, because just like your BC and your body spaces, it compresses as you start going deeper. Buoyancy control with a dry suit. Now, you don't run around with 40 pounds of lead. Okay, that's a fallacy. For most people, a properly fitted suit might be in salt water, maybe depending on the thickness of your undergarment, an extra 5 to 7 pounds of weight. I found when diving down south, when I'm caving, and I'll give you some stories that we do diving in deeper left, I actually don't add any weight. I'll wear almost the same amount of weight that I would for a 3 mil, which is basically nothing. So the big things in your class is proper weighting. So, okay, how does all this work and where does it work? Well, it works everywhere. I mean, I have pictures here on the left-hand side, a quarry in Pennsylvania known as Dutch Springs. She's diving side mount. Then she switched to back mount, still wearing the same BC. In the lower, in the center, that's a cave diver, also wearing a dry suit at this point. And the big thing with cave divers and dry suits, well, we've extended our dive times, particularly on the fact that now we're wearing rebreathers. So those dives that I used to make back in the 70s and 80s that lasted maybe an hour and a half, it's not uncommon to hear a diver going out and he or she is making a 3 to 4 hour dive. When you're making long exposures like that, you do need to stay a little bit warmer. And all the way over on the right-hand side, that's that new certification invented by the Northeast Wreck Diver. It's called Dive Shop, which means you go into one, buy one of everything, and wear it on every dive that you make. So how does this relate to you folks down in Florida? You're thinking, yeah, well, we're not diving in 40-degree water, and I may not be a cave diver, and I have no intention of going to a quarry and dipping down to the bottom where the water temperature is 36 degrees. We have dolphins. We have flat water. We have pretty blue skies. But diving is dictated by the environment that you're going into. So I'll give you a little story on the change. I got invited to dive the wreck of the Rhine, which is about 100 miles south-southwest of Key West. And I showed up with my friends. We're all chatting back and forth before we loaded up the trucks and everything. I'm like, well, what's the water temperature? Oh, it's Florida. It's going to be warm. It's going to be in the 80s, yada, yada, the whole 9 yards. So we're packing gear. I'm like, you know, I'm going to toss my dry suit in the truck. I didn't say anything. It was just in the bag. I tossed it in the back. I'm like, okay, I'm good. That's the Rhine on the stern. Really, really pretty. This is in about 210 feet of water that you're looking at. We're diving trimix. We're all on rebreathers. The first day we jump off the boat and everybody's wearing a 3 mil suit. Everybody's wearing a 3 mil suit. Surface water temperature is 86 degrees. And I'm like, oh, this is golden. Start swimming down, making the descent. I could see the wreck at 160 feet. And then we hit a halocline. And the water temperature dropped from that balmy 84, 85, 86 down to 68 degrees at 200 feet, which doesn't sound cold, but what you may not be aware of, wetsuit material does compress. So at 200 feet, 68 degrees, 3 mil suit, I might as well have been naked because there was no thermal protection whatsoever. We finished the dive. We came up on the boat. And by the way, the dive on the wreck was 25 minutes. We had over an hour's worth of decompressing. So while we're hanging there decompressing and getting ready to get back up on the boat, I keep thinking about my dry suit. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to wear that. Come up on the boat. We have lunch, dry off. I pull the dry suit out and people start laughing. And I'm like, yeah, well, we'll see how it is on the second dive. I finished the second dive. I'm warm as toast. And I'll show you the type suit that works really well for that environment. Next thing I know, hey, Pete, you're not wearing that 3 mil. I want to wear it over mine. You're wearing an extra hood. You're wearing a pair of gloves. How about those boots? You're not wearing those. Your dry suit has the boots attached. So all my gear went diving for the next 2 weeks, not necessarily that I was in it. So it does have applications at that point, particularly if you're making really long dives and multiple dives during the day. But comfort is the key to all this. I mean, we use it in the Northeast. I'm still teaching, I'm still diving, cold water diving, and everybody has a different tolerance to cold. That's just the way we all are. Everybody's a little bit different. But for myself, if I'm warm, I'm happy, I keep diving. So what are the features in a dry suit? Well, first of all, the function of the dry suit, I'm not being facetious, is to keep you dry. The underwear that you wear underneath is what's going to keep you warm. You have different options on the suit. The first thing that we do at DUI, we use what's called zip seals. They come on all our suits. You can order them without zip seals, but that's a standard. The zip seal gives you the ability, if you do rip a seal, and you will, made by any company, eventually the seal will wear out. Instead of having it bring it back to the shop in order to have it fixed, you can change the seal yourself. How easy is it? I was dressed for a dive, rebreather, stage bottles, the whole 9 yards, and I rip a wrist seal. They were actually able to pop the seal off and put it on without me de-kitting the whole time. The other thing, too, you'll have other features we'll get into that's particularly for cold water diving if you're working with them. The other feature, too, you do have what's called a warm neck collar. That's all the way up on the top. That's where you can actually tuck your hood underneath on really cold days in order to keep you warmer. It cuts down on any water flow going around your neck. It doesn't create a seal. The neck seal is what actually creates the seal. We'll talk about those in a moment, but the seal has to be fit properly to the diver, and it does take a little bit of time to get comfortable with it. Be patient. Usually on your first dive, everybody's like, I'm choking to death. Take your time. It usually takes, by the time you're done with your dry suit class, 2 to 4 dives, usually 4, and you're a whole lot more comfortable. And the wrist seals have to be snug, but not so tight that your hands are turning blue, because if the seals are loose, the suit's going to leak, and now you basically bought a very expensive leaky wetsuit at this point. There's valves on the suit, which we'll get into in a moment, but you can offer different boot styles on the suit, different pockets depending on the type suit, knee pads if you're into that. You know, we also have butt pads, we have crotch pads, we have zipper pockets, we have a lot of different things that you can add to your suit. The valves, we use the ones by Apex. We also have SideTech, and there's 2 valves on your suit. The inlet valve, that's located right in the center of your chest. It's a little push button. We give you the choice of the type hose that you want with it. And all the hoses, by the way, are 39 inches. That's it. And it uses a very large connection, so it's easy to work with barehanded, with thick gloves, or even a dry glove. And the valve actually swivels, so you can run the hose to the right or to the left, depending on how your gear configuration is set up. And then you have an exhaust valve. and the exhaust valve will auto vent as you're swimming up to the surface, or you can just push down on it for a manual override if you want to dump even more air out of the suit. And in some cases, just got a call today, guys like, I don't like the exhaust valve exactly where you have it. I'd like it up an extra 3 inches. We can do that. That's not a problem. When we build your suit, we can customize your suit down that far to getting it to exactly the way you want it. But the zip seals, and we use 2 different materials. We have silicone for those of you that do have a latex allergy, or you want a seal that stretches a little bit more. It'll keep you just as warm. Originally, there were problems with silicone when it first came out. It tore very, very easily. That's been addressed years ago, so it's not a problem. You could see on the left-hand side, there's a ring that goes around that actually bonds into the suit. You're just using soapy water. That'll lock it in. Down below, we have the silicone wrist seals. If you like the latex seal, and personally, I like the stiffer seal. I'm used to latex because that's what I originally started with. That's a customer preference. One is not necessarily better than the other. Some people claim the latex lasts longer, but I'll tell you right now, none of this stuff lasts if you leave it out in the middle of the Florida sun with it beating down. The ozone eats it up, the ultraviolet eats it up, and the heat eats it up. So the proper way to store your suit is actually in the shade. Don't let it dry in the shade. Don't leave it hanging over the rail of the boat in the sun. The seal on the left with the silicone is called the G1. For those of you who have a wider head, if you're built like Stewie from Family Guy, you would wind up with going with the G2 neck seal at that point. Men, women, it doesn't matter. Basically, the cutoff is 23.5 inches. And then below that, we have the latex wrist seal. That particular seal also has a Cordura cuff around it for more durability. So if you're going to put a large glove on because you're lobstering and you want to protect the seal, that's one way of going with it. And we're introducing a new product. It's called Beyond Silicone. All these seals actually need a lubrication to get them on. The Beyond Silicone seal sort of looks like latex, but it's a new silicone blend. It's actually thicker. You don't necessarily have to lubricate it to get it on. And we're just starting to launch that for this year. The price is very close to what we're doing on the other seals. How long will your seals last? That's usually one of the first questions I get. Okay, and I do dive a lot, I usually get 2 to 3 years out of a set of seals. The trick with the current seals, lubricate them before you get them on, wash them in fresh water if you've done a saltwater dive, and don't let them dry in the sun. And when you put them away, if you don't want to use talcum powder, you don't have to. What you need is something on there to keep the seal from touching on the inside. If it's damp, it can wind up actually keep pushing itself together. You can break the seal that way. Even cornstarch will work very well in this position. And for really cold water diving, or if you're doing contaminated water diving, we also have zip gloves. You would take the wrist seal off and you would substitute it with this glove, and that your hands are going to keep you warm. And I'll tell you right now, if your hands and feet are warm, the rest of you stays warm. It's a little psychological, but if your hands and feet are warm, you'd be surprised how much longer you can stay in the water on the dive. And then we have options on the type of boots that you can wear. The first one are called rock boots. With a rock boot, we actually have a neoprene sock that's attached to the dry suit. That's going to keep your undergarment dry. And then you have this overboot that you wear on top of it. This is very popular with public safety teams because they may have one suit that fits 3 guys, but they have 3 different foot sizes. They can each have their own set of boots while they're sharing the suit. The turbo boot, the second one, has been around for decades. This particular suit is a neoprene boot with a hard sole glued onto the bottom. After that is the TurboTech. The TurboTech actually is a turbo boot with a Kevlar layer in the front, over the toe, and on the heel. So that'll help. It's also, both of those, actually the next 3, all have an ankle strap, and that strap is designed to slow the airflow going down to your feet. You don't want to stop the airflow completely. That's part of your class. You can actually achieve easier buoyancy control once you properly dive a dry suit. You keep yourself flat in the water, your knees will be up, you can do a proper frog kick, and swim along, but you won't have an excessive amount of air. Oh, and by the way, for those of you that are new to dry suit diving or have one, and like, my feet are always getting cold, here's a tip. Loosen your fin strap up one notch, or go to a larger spring strap for your heel, because you're probably compressing the undergarment at that point and keeping the airflow there, and your feet get colder. And the last one, these are my favorites. These are the Ultraflex boot. The Ultraflex boot is a neoprene boot. It's got the reinforcements as you see it. What I love about this particular boot, I can do a nice back kick. When I'm doing the frog kick and I'm doing photo work and I want to stop, I don't have to turn around. I can swim backwards. These flex really, really easy, very comfortable to wear. And we do take into account lady sizing. We have charts that the shop will work with you to get the size. So ladies, you don't have to worry about, well, I got to wear a large boot. No, you don't. We can get the proper boot for your foot size. It's close. It's not Gucci, but it's close. Pvalves. Longer dives, you should be hydrated properly. That doesn't mean drinking a gallon of water before you get into the water. Check with Diver Alert Network. They'll actually tell you the proper way of doing that, but you should be hydrated. And at this point, your body's cooling down. You're exerting yourself. One of the byproducts of a metabolism will be urine. And you can either hold it, wear a diaper. I don't wear a diaper, okay? Or you can use what's called a Pvalve. The Pvalve actually connects to a catheter condom, and the valve is balanced. Okay, we don't really have too many unbalanced valves anymore. What's an unbalanced valve? Well, it doesn't match up with the ambient pressure inside of your suit, so it does cause a little, shall we say, squeeze. At this point, it could be very uncomfortable. These suits, there's that little nut that's unscrewed there. That's actually the balance chamber. And it keeps everything going the way it should, so that when you need to do your business, you can. All right. Now, the one that says DUI on it is actually made by Light Monkey for us. It is a balanced valve. We also get them from Halcyon. The other one is the OMS valve. Now, there's a distinct difference between the two. With the DUI valve, or the Light Monkey valve, it stays attached to your suit. You can take the hose off if you don't want to use it. On the opposite side, with the OMS valve, you can actually pop that valve off completely, put a plug in that you see on the right-hand side, and seal it off. So if you don't need it or don't want to be wearing it, you don't have to wind up keeping the whole attachment set up to you. The whole hose assembly comes off. Now, these valves do take maintenance. Urine is very, very corrosive, so they do need to be cleaned. They do need to be disinfected. So I was over in Germany at the boot show, and I had a guy walk up to me, and we started talking about it. And I have no idea why people walk up to me and want to start a conversation about a P-valve, but everybody wants to tell me about their P-valve. Go figure. So he's like, yeah, I got the OMS valve. I love it. He goes, I found a really easy way to clean it. I'm like, great. And I'm ready to pull out a notebook and start writing stuff down. He goes, when my wife's not looking, I drop it in the dishwasher and run it through the dishwasher cycle. Fortunately, he's not inviting me over for dinner anytime soon. And now, in order to help you to really make some changes, because you can personalize the suit besides the fit and the cut. And at this point, we're going to be talking about, it's on our website and it's free. It's an app built into the website so that you can look at different colors on the suit. So I'm going to turn this back over to Nicole. You're going to do your thing here. Did I lose her? Ah, there she goes. All right. All right, with this particular app, it only does one particular suit right now, which would be the TLS 350. You could choose the color. That's the color I selected for my suit because I wanted to be stylish. Now, you can also change the colors. So you want to give us a color change, Nicole? Pick something. Pick something fancy. There you go. Blue. And if you can also change the style. Now you're styling. Okay, and you can change the setup. That we went from the Pro to the Elite, and you have the ability to put a piping color on it. You'll see that just below the. Oh, you went to Pro Stripe. Okay, you can actually put stripes on the suit, and if you add stripe to the front, Nicole. Oh, okay. Am I moving too fast for you? Okay. Put a stripe. Pick a stripe. Aegean, there we go. And pick another stripe in the back. It's right underneath it. You can go white. And you could put another stripe on there. You can mix and match the stripes. And currently, you now have the ability to add 3 stripes onto your suit if you really want to personalize it at this point. So when you're looking at your suit, you might be like, okay, and you can pick your color. You could take a look at it on the app, and you'll get an idea of what the suit's going to look like and what the pattern's going to look like. You can go to different colors on the threads. So that's an option. The other features, except for the Pro Stripe, are built into the price of the suit. You can change the boots on the suit. You'll see what the suit looks like. You can also, on the legs, put an overlay if you want to do different colors on there. So let's go to a knee overlay. You got a default. There you go. So you could put different colors. You can mix and match. Really personalize out your suit. That one looks kind of hideous, so I'm glad it's not mine. So, all right. So we can go back from there. Nicole, if you would bounce me back to my screen at this point. No, or that be that command tab. There we go. All right. See, I figured it out all by myself. So now when it comes to measuring for your suit, we actually do 20 different measurements. So we can get an idea of your sizing. You should always be measured. Don't start. Yeah, I'm a large. Okay. Suit cuts are a little bit different. And if there's any employees over here listening in on this, this is some of our biggest mistakes. Is happens to be section 3. What's the maximum thickness of insulation you plan on wearing? Okay. When they measure you for the suit, you're usually wearing, you can wear jeans and a t-shirt. That's fine. You don't add to it. It's not like, well, make the hips a little bit wider for me because I might wear thicker underwear, or I'm planning on losing 10 pounds. No, it doesn't work that way. When the suits are cut, we cut to those measurements, and that's why we have to know what the insulation is. So if you're in the up north, you're in the Midwest, you may want XM 450, which is our thickest undergarment. We'll get into that in a little while, okay? Or if you were diving in Florida, you want to go maximum of duotherm or less, a thinner undergarment, because you may not be doing that much colder water diving. So you can make some changes there. You'll pick the inflation hose. You'll pick the boots that you want to go with. We'll figure out your sizing. Pro, Elite, Pro Stripe, all the colors, everything you want is added in there. What type of wrist seals? What kind of neck seal? And then you can do add-ons, different pockets, and you can mix and match the pockets. I just had a young lady order on one suit. She wants a cargo pocket, small on the right, that uses a Velcro closure. And on the left, she wanted to go with a zipper pocket, but she was tall enough to put a large on. You could put knee pads on there. You could do the fabric overlay, your Pvalve. And yes, we asked that personal question. Do you want it on the right or on the left? And you can also put a reinforcement behind it to work with. Or if you don't want to go that way, you can add a relief zipper, put a flap on it, reflective tape. If you're doing some public safety diving or a lot of night diving or offshore diving, you want to be able to be spotted by the boat searchlight. You'll just glow like a glow stick at that point. And then we can do attached hoods. We have different hoods, zip gloves. So you've got a lot of features to work with. You can really customize your suit. And talking with the shop is the way to do it, to get an idea of what you need to do. And that also comes down to, hey, I have no idea what I want. Okay. They do all the measurements. We get together and we figure out, okay, yeah, you can actually fit in this particular select style suit. Or you really need to go custom. And one of the big advantages on a custom suit, by the way, we guarantee the fit. So if it doesn't fit, if we have to, we'll remake the suit within reason. So we all work together to get you what you need. But you'll be surprised how very few suits we have to remake for people if the measurements are done right. And if Nicole measures you, you just chase after Nicole. Now looking at suits. Okay, which one where? Why do we have so many? Well, that darling diver in there, that's me. That's my TLS 350. I picked this particular suit, and all our suits standard come with the front entry on the suit. So in between dives, you can unzip it and cool off, particularly on hot days. this particular suit. It's got good durability, but it's very lightweight material. And the reason I picked this suit is that when we could get on planes easily, I would jump it back and forth between the East Coast and the West Coast. I bring my diving gear, and water is weight. So that way I can actually have my gear dry off before I packed it up and put it back in the bag. All right. Very flexible, easy to swim with for long dives. I was very comfortable with this suit. Okay. A good abrasion resistant nylon on there. And yeah, it's as you can see, Special Forces, rescue swimmers. It fits just about everybody's setup. There's a 7-year warranty on the urethane seams. And by the way, every suit, when we build these suits, if you order TLS 350 and you buy a select suit, an extra large, or if you're buying a custom suit, we build every suit. Every suit is water and pressure tested before we send it out to make sure that the suit's dry when it arrives by you. We have a very heavy QC assembly line set up. The Flex Extreme, by the way, the Flex Extreme is one of the more popular suits I sell to cave divers in Florida because it's a polyester trilaminate. It's still soft and flexible, but it's more puncture resistant than a TLS 350. It's also popular with wreck divers further north because it stands up to abrasion better. The knee overlays in every suit, the TLS 350 has a nylon overlay. This one comes with the Cordura overlay, which is a heavier duty material. Remember, when you go to a heavier duty material, you do tend to make the suit a little bit more difficult to swim in. Not harder, not like night and day difference, but it's not quite as easy as a TLS 350. And then if you want something really rugged, we have the CLX 450. It's also a tri-laminate. All these suits are tri-laminate suits. All right, as it says, polyester-based tri-laminate legs for flexibility while swimming. So we have it available in different ways. And believe it or not, we sell a lot of these suits to guys doing light commercial work because it does stand up to abrasion so well. This is Dick Long. He actually was instrumental in getting the Yukon sunk over in San Diego. All right, and he invented the crushed neoprene from DUI. Now that it's a patented process. We'll go through it in a moment. We can tell you what's going on. We actually start with 3 mil thick material, squeeze it down to 1.5. All right. Now I'll tell you one thing about this material. I wish Dick was here. This was actually a failed experiment. Dick did a lot of work with the U.S. Navy and the Army with the swimmers, trying to come up with different types of thermal protection. So he came up with an idea, like, maybe we need to thin the material out. He took the 3 mil in, he crushed it down. He went on a dive, he put it on, he came out and he goes, this doesn't work. I'm freezing my butt off. He goes, there's no insulating properly. You get your insulation properly from neoprene by its thickness. Neoprene doesn't keep you warm. Neoprene slows down the conductivity of water. So Dick basically said, yeah, it's not working. He just threw the material in the corner, went off to something else. Lo and behold, somebody comes in from the Navy. They're walking around. Dick's talking about a few other things. The guy sees the pile of material. He goes, Dick, what's with this? And Dick says, I got all embarrassed. He goes, yeah, just drop that. That was a mistake. That didn't work. And the guy says, this stuff is pretty stretchy. Should be reasonably durable. Why don't you make a dry suit out of it? Hence, the CF200 came to be. And originally, when they did this, he actually got a couple of torpedo tubes. He would shove the material inside, fill it up with water, and then he would put it in what they call the crusher. And they put it on the 1500 PSI for 24 hours. It would squeeze all the nitrogen out of the material. He says, when you open it up the next day to purge it out, the water goes from clear to milk because there's so much dissolved nitrogen inside of it. Then they dry it, and he says it's the most durable dry suit DUI has ever made. And unlike a fabric suit, this material actually has an insulating factor of 4 to 6 degrees. So it's warmer, it's denser, it's still a flexible suit. The problem with this particular suit, you're always making trade-offs. They don't dry overnight. It depending on where you are, that there's one team that basically, if they dive on Sunday, the suit's still wet the following Sunday on the outside because they can't get it to dry completely. So, but it's a warm suit. It's a preferred suit that people are diving in the Antarctic. because it is warmer, but it is heavier. So plan on some overages when you're packing your bags. The most popular selling and intro dry suit, let's call it that, would be the Yukon II. This came out 3 years ago. It's a very similar material to the TLDS 350. This is not a glued seam. This is a tape seam. It uses a plastic zipper. Yes, the plastic zipper is waterproof. All our suits come with the zip seals on it. It comes standard with the Ultra Flex boot. It has one pocket located on the right-hand side. Zip seals are standard. By the way, all these suits with the front entry zipper have what's called a telescoping torso, which means when you're holding the suit up and you're wearing a large and you pick the suit up and allow it to drop in front of you, it looks like it fits somebody 6'2". It's the way the suit's designed. You step into the trousers, you put the suspenders up. Suspenders are standard in the suits. Get yourself into the suit with the telescoping torso. You can actually lift it up, get it over your head, pull it down into position, zip it shut, and put the crotch strap on it. The crotch strap keeps the suit from riding up while you reach your hands up over your head while you're in the water. You have a little extra air in there. So it makes it a little bit more comfortable to work with. It comes in black and red the way you see it with the highlights, or you can get the highlights also in gray. There's always a dual layer material on the knees, but you shouldn't be kneeling, and we won't get into that too far. We'll leave that to the tech instructor coming along. So there you go. Then we have the Cortez. This is also another standard feature. This material is a little denser. It comes in 3 colors, black, black, and black. I just want to see if you're paying attention. You can change the sewing, the machine, the thread on there. It is an extra fee, but I just had a young lady buy a suit that is all black with pink thread. Another guy bought one. It's all black, and he used yellow thread. So you can still personalize the suit. This particular suit comes with 2 pockets on it. These are big cargo pockets. You can fit a small reel, a finger spool, and a 6-foot SMB in there. You could fit your backup mask on the inside, a slate, whatever else you want to do, chocolate bars. You could put a bunch of stuff in there and work with it, no problem. It still comes with the YKK plastic zipper. They all come with the warm neck collars. They all come with zip seals. The zip seal on these suits are only latex seals on the standard suits. If you wanted to go to a silicone seal, we'll do it, but it basically becomes a custom suit at that point, because I have to take that suit off the line, and one person has to be dedicated to building your suit. And these come, unlike the premium suits, these come with a 3-year warranty. 15 men's sizes, 18 lady sizes, and both of these suits are available in custom that we call signature sizing. So you can make the changes. The Coronado too, by the way, when I was diving in and doing those deeper dives, this is the type material I was wearing. It's actually a breathable Cordura trilaminate nylon, just like it says, okay? It only breathes when you're on the surface, not underwater. The advantage is we're offshore, the water's warm, the air was really warm. You're starting to sweat. Your undergarment gets wet. As soon as the undergarment gets wet, it loses some of its thermal conductivity. But now it actually wicks out through the material. The sweat comes off. You're not sitting in a puddle at this point. All right. This suit is a bare bones suit. It has no pockets on it. It does have zip seals. We can't even add pockets because this is actually a bilaminate, not a trilaminate. And it comes with fabric socks. And you can just wear a wetsuit boot over it or rock boots, depending on what you want to work with. These are very economically priced. For those of you who join us that are public safety divers, DUI does a lot for public safety teams. I was actually lecturing last week to the Mid-Atlantic Public Safety Diving Forum. We spent time in the water. We talked about contaminants. And here's something for everybody to know about, because all contaminants will find a place. This is nylon weave, by and large, what the sport diver is wearing. And I can't get a show of hands, but I'm sure there's instructors there that have BCs and wetsuits that are turning brown from being in the pool. Well, what's happening, the color is leaching out of the fabric. And the way you prevent that is basically it works its way in, as you can see here. This is just water on nylon. Well, I asked Dick Long How did you guys decontaminate the suits? Because nothing that you know of today that we use for decontamination existed back then. He goes, oh, that was easy. We hosed everybody down before they jumped in the water, because contaminants are either on the surface or on the bottom. There's not as much in mid-water at this point. The whole idea was basically to fill in all those little holes so the contaminants couldn't find a place to go. And then when they came up to the surface, it was easier to clean the suit at that point. But it's all about permeability. How long does it take for it to go? These divers, these ladies and gentlemen, wind up diving in really nasty environments, and they need their gear to last. Their gear usually wears down faster, not from abrasion, but from the chemicals that they're getting themselves into at this point, going into ponds that they're looking for bodies in golf courses, or they're going around cars and tankers that are leaking oil into the water, and then all bunch of other nasty stuff that can be floating in there that they have to protect. And they're sticking their hands down in the muck looking for things. That's the reason why public safety divers now, pretty much the standard for every team that's really involved in finding out, is full encapsulation, because the problems with these contaminants it's not going to hit you today, it's not going to hit you tomorrow, but it can be a cumulative effect when you're dealing with chemicals. So the suits that we have, this is the CXO. If you had to do like that guy was, by the way, crawling out of a cesspool. So this is the suit you would wear underneath there. This particular material is polyurethane. It disinfects really, really easy. It's not the easiest suit to swim in, but it's the highest level of protection. You'll notice that the valves are yellow compared to everything else that's blue. That's not just to make it look good. It's designed, that's how we know that there's an extra layer of fluorosilicone diaphragms built into those valves to have them last longer in the dives. And by the way, for those of you that, because this question comes up, how do I clean the valve? The best way to clean the valve is blow water through the valve from the inside out at this point. If the valve starts to leak, it needs to be replaced. For what it costs for a rebuild kit and the amount of time, it's actually cheaper to replace the valve. The public safety TLS is our most popular public safety suit. It's designed of the TLS 350, just that the overlay, as you can see up on the shoulders in the red, is a different pattern compared to what we use with the TLS. You don't have a choice working with a elite design, a pro design, or the pro stripe design, because you'll notice the zipper is bare. That's by design, because the overlay, there's an extra zipper there. It will actually trap contaminants on the inside. It's very difficult to get it clean. So they go with this particular suit because it's easier to clean. It's designed for moderate contamination. We also have suits topside and underwater. You can actually change the seals, put the valves in. So you'll have a suit that does two things: wearing splash guards if you're running a boat, or you could turn the suit into a true diving suit by taking the seals out and putting the latex seals in. Not silicone, latex. Silicone actually absorbs contaminants. Different weighting systems, depending on how you want to set up. You can wear a weight and trim system. For those of you diving in really cold water, you may consider what it's called split weight, where I only wear some of my weight in the BC, and then the other weight is worn inside the weight and trim system. Basically, if I had a problem, you don't want to ditch all that lead. Some of my suits, I'm wearing almost 30 pounds of lead. If I got a problem, I don't want to ditch 30 pounds. I want to ditch half. I'm still going to the surface, but it's more of a controlled descent at that point. And if I have a problem, I can ditch the rest, or my buddy can. And there's size to fit men and women, so we can work different ways to help you folks out. And then underwear, that's fun to wear. All right. Cotton doesn't work. It makes me crazy when I'm on a boat or a lake, quarry, wherever, and someone's got themselves a $4,000 suit, and the first thing they put on is a T-shirt. T-shirts, once they get wet, you're just going to get cold. They don't wick, they don't dry. Basically, you just get cold at that point. And sweating before the dive, believe it or not, is where you wind up getting more in terms of moisture into the suit, because it needs some place to go. It's a wicking factor. That means it's going to move it from your body to the outside of the undergarment. And the reason why, you'll see people take dry suits off and there's a layer of water on the inside of the suit, just drops here and there, not a lot. We're not talking like a coffee cup full, but we're talking drops. Basically, it's moved away from their body. The body's dry. And once you have a 20-degree temperature differential, it condenses. Think fog at this point. So that's how you get water inside. And layering does work. In colder water, I don't wear really thick undergarments. I wear layers. I'll wear that thin wicking layer. Then I might wear a 300 instead of going straight to a really heavy 450 undergarment. Vinsulate is an excellent insulator. Works well, even if it's soaking wet. That actually wool works, will keep you warm if it's soaking wet. The problem with wool, it becomes so heavy, it's difficult to swim in. And we have it in the XM 450 or the 250. The 450 is if you're going to be diving in Antarctica. All right, but the problem is there's no stretch to it. We actually had to sew stretch-in panels to give you more freedom of movement, give a better fit. These are unisex. They're not custom. So you either fit it or you don't. The most popular undergarment, this is what I wear myself, is the Duotherm. We have it in the 150, which I'll wear for caving or for warmer water diving, or we also have it in 300. And this is important. We have two cuts. We have in the select sizing a men's cut, a ladies cut, and you can also do special production sizing, think custom, to get it to fit you properly. If an undergarment is too small and you bend over to put your fins on, you're going to know it, and you know where, okay? If it's too big, it can bunch up underneath, very uncomfortable. It can make difficulties getting all the air out of the suit. So the proper fit of the undergarment is as important as the proper fit of your dry suit, and the shop will help you with that. We actually have size charts for the undergarments. So at this point, we're going to open it up to questions. That's my email. So if you have a question after all this, feel free. I'll answer all the questions. Be happy to help you. And right now, what we're going to do is, let's see, Command Tab, get out of this. No? Yep, there we go. And I'm going to turn it back to Nicole and see if we have any questions, and we'll go from there. Can't hear you.
There we go.
I can hear you.
Hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Awesome. Okay, yes, we do have a couple of questions. So let's see. We have, first of all, they really like the comment about diving with chocolate candy bars. They thought that was interesting.
The divers, they're kids.
If you have an infrequent need, can you rent a dry suit for these occasions? If so, am I correct that you would still need to be dry suit certified?
Well, yes. Okay. Because the problem with dry suits is basically properly learning how to inflate the suit, deflate the suit. One of the things I teach in my classes, I actually have my students totally deflate their BC. And then we do about a half-hour swim just using the dry suit for buoyancy control. It's controlling a bubble on the inside. The suit is not designed to keep you floating on the surface. But follow me on this. You're doing a wreck dive, beach dive, reef dive, whatever, and your BC stops functioning properly. You know, the hose gets bit off by a shark, whatever. You've got the hose fittings have fallen out. Okay. It becomes, at this point, if you're properly trained, an inconvenience, and you can get yourself to safety, and you'll be neutrally buoyant. You can even, get to the surface, but you're not going to be floating there and chatting about what bar you're going to hit after the day of diving is done. You're going to be neutrally buoyant. You're going to stay prone and swim back to either the beach or the boat and get yourself there. Okay. Overinflation. We've had enough problems with people embolizing, people getting bent because the suit dragged them up to the surface. So it's all part of the training. It's all safety at that point and getting the fit proper. So
Awesome.
Can it be done? Yeah. If the suit's got rentals, take a class. It'll stay with you. And usually after about 10 dives, you've really built the skill level up from there.
Great. The other question was, some people have seen like neoprene dry suits. Do you guys, what's the difference there?
Actually, the CF200 is a neoprene dry suit. We just crushed it down. The suit that I was test diving is the CD300 Sport. That's also neoprene. The crushed suit actually doesn't need as much lead compared to the CD300. That's a very economical suit. It's a full 3 mil thick. It's a high quality neoprene, very, very buoyant. Okay, that suit in fresh water, when I'm wearing 150, the 150 weight undergarment underneath it, 42-degree water, I like putting air in the suit to puff it up. With a steel 85 and a steel back plate, I still had to wear 27 pounds of lead in order to be comfortable. Okay, the one thing about our suits at DUI, by the way, which you may have missed this, we actually build these suits in California. They don't come from overseas. All our suits are built in the United States. So if you have a problem with your suit, you're going to be talking to somebody in California who's a dry suit diver, who understands what the problems are and can work with you. And sometimes you'll actually be talking to an instructor on the phone. Not me, because I'm not in California. I'm in Elizabeth City.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you covered this, but the zippers, what are the products they can use to keep the zippers, flowing good for you?
Okay, let's start with the plastic zipper. Don't lubricate a plastic zipper. Okay, the only place you lubricate is where the slide goes into the dam, where it locks in, and it's like a drop, and it'll last you for a month without a problem. That zipper was not designed to be lubricated. You lubricate it, the zipper's going to split. The metal zipper, and here's the difference. We actually have a machine that we put a zipper on, and all it does is unzip it, zip it, unzip it, zip it. Usually does 10,000 pulls before they fail. Okay, that's why we go with the brass zippers in there. The only proper lubricant for that, and it's in our manual, is beeswax. The problem with paraffin wax, it'll work, but it doesn't bond to the teeth. It doesn't hold. You'll zip it in, you'll see little bits of paraffin jumping off all over the place. Silicone is an absolute no-no. Do not use any silicone spray. Don't use silicone grease. That's going to wind up just trapping sand and breaking your zipper down faster. Beeswax is the best thing to use. And here's a little tip. You go into a Catholic supply store, by canon law, every candle must be made out of beeswax.
Okay.
So you can buy an unblessed candle, and you probably have a 10-year supply of beeswax.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't tell Dick I said that.
You talked about when you are rinsing your suit with fresh water and drying it, not drying it in direct sun. Is it best to dry it upside down or right side up? Okay, this is the way I store my suits. First of all, when you're cleaning the suit, you close the zipper. You hose the suit off with fresh water, just a regular tap coming out of there, no problem. And then get all the sand out of it. Don't forget the pockets. Get under the overlay on the material. Just spray it on the zipper while it's closed, no problem. And the way I actually dry my suits, you can dry them by hanging by their feet. Then any moisture that's in there will actually start to run down on the inside, because there'll always be some sweat on the inside, or you sprayed a little down. Not a problem. The way I store my suits, if you don't have a garage tall enough that you can hang your suits, or if you have an apartment, difficulty storing equipment, don't have a garage, I actually use a 2.5-inch diameter piece of PVC pipe, about 4 feet long, and I drape the suit over it. What you want to avoid on any suit made by anybody is a sharp crease. That's going to shorten the life of your suit. You want it to have that fold. So it's just draped around the pipe at that point, and the material will last longer. I've been doing that for over 30 years, and my suits last that way. If I have a problem with a leak, it's usually because it's a car door, a trunk lid, or one of my buddies dropped something on it, because it's never me. So. Okay, so we talked about adding the Pvalves, and oops, we don't have it in our dry suit, and by accident we did, go in our dry suit.
No.
Sweated a lot. Is there some kind of cleaner we can use inside of these that aren't going to destroy your your dry
Well,
suit?
there's actually cleaners made specifically to clean the inside of a suit. Okay. But the one that works really well is any type of disinfectant they use on rebreathers
Mhm.
also will clean the inside of your suit. Okay. But the trick is you clean it, you disinfect it, and then you rinse it out. Don't leave the disinfectant sitting on the inside of the suit. I use Steramine.
Okay.
And that's what I use inside my rebreather. And if I need it, you can make up the 5-gallon pail worth. It'll last the whole week. You can just spray it in the suit. You don't dunk the suit. Just spray it, let it do its job, let it sit there for 5-10 minutes, then just wash it out with fresh water and dry it completely. It's usually easier to dry the suit by trying to turn it almost completely inside out.
Okay. Well, we carry that at Force-E, the Steramine. So if anybody needs it, we got it.
There you go.
Okay, and will you be bringing back the DUI dog days? Is that
Well, for a number of reasons, unfortunately, that answer is going to be no. With COVID, it makes it very difficult. Travel's difficult, and it's cost prohibitive at this point. We all had a great time. It was fun. I did them myself for years, and they're always a good time. But unfortunately, the economics just don't match out on there. And Evangeline has a question. What do you recommend for women 5 foot and 5'5"? Okay, real simple. You're probably better off going with a custom made suit. Now, there's a few things when we're dealing with the ladies' anatomy. You have all these bumps and curves. Well, the other problem is too, compared to a man, you are short waisted. You've heard the term legs that go all the way down to the floor. A woman 5'10" and a guy 5'10", her inseam's actually going to be longer than a man's. So it's getting the fit right in order to make it work so you're comfortable in something like that. So, we can make the attempt to trying to get you into something stock, but we need to do your measurements. We need to check the measurements, and you'll have to make a decision from there. Okay. It's all about fit. If it's too small, it's no good. If it's too big, once you're over on the arm and length, over, I would say 3 inches, it can be very difficult to dive a suit unless you're really experienced.
Okay, and here we go. So thank you, Pete, so much for a fantastic presentation. We had lots of great questions and you answered them. So I also brought over so that you guys could see, this is our event page for Force-E. And if you go down here, and you're going to see a lot of our presentations that deal with our tech diving, Facebook Live stuff. We also have some diving events going on. And I wanted to alert you guys too, because you said intro to tech. So we do have an intro to tech course coming up the month of October with our instructors, John Gavin and Greg Halvish. And if you guys are interested in learning and seeing what the technical diving world is like, this is the class for you right here. You can find that information. Let me go back over. But I talked about having a technical diving month page. So here it is, guys. All kinds of great information on this page. Presentation with John Chatterton and Alec Hutchinson on here from last year you can watch. We also have the tech courses available and tech charters available, and also rebreather diving. If you're curious about the rebreather side, we also have awesome tech ready items to get you guys out there and diving. So like I said, guys, go over to Force-E and check out that page. Now it's time for our raffle, a $50 gift card to, let's see, here we go. Tim Smith, you are our winner tonight. You will be getting a $50 gift card to Force-E, and hopefully you are excited and you want to go ahead and use it, and we can get you into a dry suit, get you out there and diving. All right, guys. Well, Pete, thank you so much for a great presentation. And everybody, we'll see you a little bit later. Stay tuned for our next Facebook Lives. See ya.
Dive safe, folks. Be safe. Thank you.